Okay, so today we're going to show you how to install a new screen on an Asus EEE PC1005 PEB. Now before we get started, a couple cautions. Of course you need to make sure that you get the right screen. This particular computer actually has several different screens. So I would recommend taking off the old screen first and doing a search by the part number from that screen before you actually go through and take the trouble of ordering it just by the model number of your computer. I'd recommend ordering it by the part number on the back. So to do this, we're going to need some tools. You're going to need like a razor blade or like one of these box opener knives. You'll need a small screwdriver and either what they call a separation tool to get around the edge of the screen or a spooger. I like these ones because they have a nice little point on the other side. It makes it a little bit helpful if sometimes you need it. Also, to save time, I've already taken out most of the screws on the front cover except for one, and to do that there's 6 different screws. You'll see them they'll behind a little black nub kind of thing that you'll need to take apart. And so there's one located here, 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 and then 2 on the bottom. So I'm just going to show you how to do the last one real quick. So what you'll do is you'll take that box opener and you just want to gently kind of get it back behind that little piece right there and pry it up. And then you can set that aside. Make sure you keep them. They do have some adhesive on the back, so you should be able to put that adhesive back on there. And then you just take your Phillips screwdriver and unscrew it. And that's pretty much what you'll need to do before we get started taking apart the actual part here. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to separate the back, this front piece from the back panel so that we can actually get to it. Now this particular model, this screen part, and also there's 2 nubs down here that come apart. What you'll need to do on this first part is, I usually use my fingernail or something fine to get in, or sometimes, especially because usually these are cracked, you'll find some place where you can get your fingernails underneath. So you want to get your fingernail underneath to get kind of started, and then you just take your spooger and you'll run down the sides. And you'll hear some popping noises. Don't be afraid, that's what it's supposed to do. You just want to do it kind of gently. And then usually you'll need to pry up and down here a little bit. Now this one, these bottom nubs are also connected, but they come out as separate pieces. What you'll need to do with these is push that down and kind of pull it forward. And then also on the back, it separates from the back here. Just kind of, you should be able to just run your spooger down or underneath it a little bit, and it actually separates by coming down. So you'll get underneath that and push it down. And then what we need to do is you get in here and pull these, which is why I like this little one with a point, because you can get underneath that. Pull that out. You see how it's got the hook there that goes up, and then they'll separate. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And you just get that underneath there and pull it up. And you should notice you've got the hinges in here. Now on this one you also have 2 wires, each here on each side. When you put this back together, we want to make sure that those wires and this plastic piece kind of slips underneath that and then encases that part where that wire is. So you want to make sure that that wire is inside of there. And then we'll just finish kind of pulling this off. You gently pull it up, and those parts are going to go inside just like this when you put it back together. Okay, and we'll put that aside for now. And okay, so the next step we want to do is removal of the screen. Now you'll notice there's the screen is actually attached by some brackets that hold it in, here and here. You'll notice there's 4 screws that hold it in. You've got one up here and one down here on each side. So we want to take and remove those screws real quick. Just pull them off, set them aside. Okay, and then you'll just put your fingernails right back here, and you just kind of gently pull up, and the screen should just fold out like that and come off. Now, when we take it down here, there's the back part. This is the connector for the screen. Now, these are really delicate, so we want to be very careful with them. So, you've got it, it's taped down here, so we want to pull that tape up first. And you want to save this tape for later, so just be gentle about it. There's also a piece of clear tape here that you want to pull up as well. And then we want to very, very gently just kind of pull this out. And if you have resistance, there's a little plastic nub right here. You know, if you feel you're going to break it, once again, you can take your handy dandy spooger and just take it along the edge and gently pull on each side. And that'll help you get it out. Okay, so now we have the screen out. And we need these brackets to put on for the new screen. So once again, we'll unscrew the bracket. There's 2 screws on each side. Remove the brackets. Okay, so there's the old screen. We're done with it. So now we need our new screen. Now most of these new screens, they, you know, of course come in static wrap and they have a protector on the front. I usually like to leave that on as long as I can, but you're going to need to pull up the tape a little bit on the sides. And one more caution when you're handling your new screen is this area where the circuit board is actually very delicate. So I would recommend don't touch it if you at all possible. Just leave it alone and don't touch it. Okay, so we're going to be putting the brackets back on. So this is the bottom. This is where the bottom bracket goes. And okay, on this one, those brackets need to line up like right up next to the side of the screen. So we'll just put our screws back in. Just like so. Put on our other bracket. Okay, so now we have our bracket in. Just set it back down on the keyboard for now. Okay, and we need to push that back in, so you want to hold up the tape Line it up with the slot. And very gently, pushing on the sides, push it back in. And we want to make sure that that's all the way in, or else it's not going to work right, obviously. Then gently put your tape back down. And put this tape back down. And then now we can put it back. Okay, there's some little black holes that should line up. Watch this cable. It needs to be right down along the side of that screen. As you can see, it goes down here and then into there. Same with this side. This side usually lines up a little bit easier because it's got some tape on it, but and you put it in there. We'll put our screws to hold the screen back in again. Now, before I go any further, I like to test the screen because obviously if there's a problem, I need to take it apart correctly. So we'll just grab our battery that we removed at the first. Put that in, back in real quick. And power it up. And there you go, you get a brand new screen. As far as putting on the rest of it back together, we'll wait till this boots real quick. Okay, so after you've booted it, just to check, make sure it works, I need to remove the battery again, because we always remove battery before we do any work on a laptop. And now we'll want to put the screen casing back on so it looks nice again. So we'll start with this. You want to line it up down there, making sure that those wires are on the inside. And you just go around and push it into place where it's supposed to be. You can hear it snap in. Make sure it's snapped in along the bottom. Okay, and now we're going to do these. So remember, the little hook part's up. You just slip it down in there, making sure that you go to one side of the wire. Until it's locked in up there. Make sure that wire is inside. And then it just clips on the back. Do the same thing with this side. Once again, making sure that wire's in there where it's supposed to be. Put clips under there, and then clips on the back. Just double check real quick. And then we'll want to put our screen screws back in. So there's our screws back in, and then we need to, of course, put these back on. Try to touch them as little as possible, as obviously the adhesive, more of your oil it comes in contact with, the less likely it is to stick back on your computer. And you just kind of put them back in the holes and push down. If you have problems with them staying back on, you know, you can always use just a really, really tiny small dab of something like super glue or Gorilla Glue or something like that. It usually works pretty good. Just make sure it's an extremely small dab. Just enough to get it to stay on there. Oops. And there you go, good as new. So that's how you fix the screen on an Asus EEE PC 1005 PEB. Thanks for watching.